Action! Hello everybody, Zachman18 here. We are back with Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations, the fourth case in the game. Not sure if this is going to be the last one. I think there was 4 in the last game. I'm not sure if there was 4 or 5, but maybe we could be heading into our last case here. So this could be our last case in the Phoenix Wright trilogy, so I'm really excited to see if it is or not. I'm not quite sure. But anyways, this is the fourth case. I can't remember what it's called, but we finished Recipe for Turnabout yesterday. It was very, it's kind of a cool case actually. We had a phony version of us, and it was pretty crazy. We had Maya working at the Trace BN. So without further ado, episode 4, Turnabout Beginnings. The girl. Let her go. Whoa. We're on a bridge. Shut up. Come closer. And I kill her. Sorry, but you're not going to get the chance. Bang. Jeez. Here's us. I'm reading through the file of an old court case. It was the first case of my longtime mentor, Mia Fey. Whoa, this is cool. Terry Falls, charged kidnapping murder. Sentence death penalty. Fugitive movements. After escaping, Falls met with and then murdered Sergeant Valerie Hawthorne. Recaptured on Eagle Mountain about 8 hours after his escape. Her very first client was a death row inmate who had recently broken out of prison. That was a whole year before Mia and I ever met. So that was her first case. Interesting. 6 years earlier, Mia Fey first trial. Wow. Are we going to get to take part in her first ever trial? That started pretty much our whole life as a lawyer. Let's do this. I'm so nervous. I feel like I'm gonna die. I never should have accepted this case. Good morning. Don't be so jumpy, Mia.
I didn't do nothing, I swear. I didn't kill anybody. I didn't kill nobody.
Terry Falls, my first client. Sentenced to death 5 years ago, and now a prison escapee. Just relax, Mia. Make small talk and try to relax him. So why did you escape anyway?
Hey, I'm sorry. I didn't do nothing. I didn't kill nobody. I never lie. I didn't escape from nowhere.
But Mr. Falls, the police just recaptured you 2 days ago.
Sorry, I told a little lie.
Oh boy.
But anyway, I didn't do it. I never killed nobody.
I'm sorry for asking, but you're on death row, right?
Yeah.
I'm really sorry.
They sentenced me to die 5 years ago, but I was tricked, I tell you. That woman, she lied in her testimony. That's why I got the death penalty. I swear it, I didn't kill her. I could never do that.
2 days ago, he escaped from the police wagon when it crashed. Then about 8 hours later, a policewoman was murdered before the police could recapture him. The police believe that Terry Falls did it. After you escaped, did you meet a policewoman?
Yeah, I did. She's the reason I escaped.
I'm gonna do a Boston accent. So that much is true, he did meet with the victim.
But I didn't kill her. She was alive when I left. She was alive, it's true.
I can trust him, right? I mean, I should. Ha. Whoa. You're not gonna figure out the truth by just staring at the guy. I don't know what voice to do for him. Why are you here?
I came to see how our little kitten was doing all alone in the big scary lion's den. I thought maybe you'd like someone to play with.
Where is Mr. Grossberg?
Ha, that old man is probably still in bed. I bet he's clutching an empty bottle and mumbling in his sleep. Aren't I good enough? After all, it's me, Diego Armando.
I didn't say. So Diego Armando, the finest attorney at Grossberg Law Offices, is here for me?
No, you've got it all wrong. Today you're the finest. After all, it took an amazing amount of guts to take this case. Imagine, an escaped death row convict for our first client.
Yeah, thanks. I sure wish I could get out of it, though.
Ha, relax, I just heard some good news. The prosecutor for today is fresh out of his diapers as well.
Really?
However, unlike a certain somebody who I won't mention, he's earned the reputation as a genius since beginning his law career.
Genius? I'm gonna go crazy if it's Edgeworth.
Well, it's about time to head in, kitten. Sharpen those claws of yours, it's go time.
If it's Edgeworth, I'm gonna be so surprised. A solitary confinement cell for the condemned must be the world's loneliest place. And that's what my client ran away from. Every other lawyer gave up on him. But not me. When I saw those overflowing eyes and heard that simple childlike voice, I just had the feeling that he was telling the truth.
Alright, here we go.
Heading into Mia Fey's first ever trial as a lawyer. Who is the prosecutor? Oh, I should probably do a different voice.
Court is now in session for the trial of Terry Falls.
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
Oh, it is Edgeworth.
The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor.
I understand the lawyers for both sides are newcomers?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm Mia Fey.
Miles Edgeworth, Your Honor.
So you're the new prosecutor everyone's talking about, eh? They say you joined the prosecutor's office at quite an early age.
At 20, Your Honor.
I guess our little kitten hasn't earned herself much of a reputation yet. Wait a second, he's got coffee in his hand. Does he have anything to do with Godot? Hotshot lawyer? Huh. I bet he has a relationship with Godot.
I guess our little kitten hasn't earned himself much of a reputation yet, huh?
Come on, Mia, you can't lose. Not to someone younger than you.
Young people running a trial, I'm not too sure how I feel about that. Now then, the defendant in this case is currently a felon on death row. 2 days ago, he escaped from a police wagon. Is that correct?
Precisely.
But the defendant is not on trial for escaping prison. On the day that the defendant escaped, the policewoman was murdered. So we're here to determine if Mr. Falls was responsible for her death?
You got it, kitten. Well then, Mr. Edgeworth, let's hear your opening statement.
Yes, Your Honor. It was 5 years ago. The defendant, Terry Falls, was sentenced to death in this very court. His crimes were kidnapping, extortion, and murder. The girl he threw off the bridge was only 14 years old.
A truly horrible crime. I remember it well. There was no decisive evidence, so the trial was long and protracted.
Correct. But in the end, what finally decided the case was a certain witness's testimony.
A witness's testimony?
The testimony of Detective Valerie Hawthorne, the person who confronted this criminal. She arrested Mr. Falls at the scene and later testified against him. She said she witnessed Mr. Falls throw his young victim into the river.
Is that a grammar thing? I don't know. A grammar error?
For those who are not aware, Eagle River is well known for its powerful currents. Most bodies that fall in are never recovered.
So Miss Hawthorne's testimony was the one that put him away.
That policewoman you must just mentioned, that wouldn't be...
Exactly, the victim, the same woman that was killed 2 days ago. Police Sergeant Valerie Hawthorne.
Aha, I see. The man who was sentenced to death based on her testimony escaped 2 days ago, with only one thing on his mind, to take revenge against the woman who convicted him. Aha, the truth is becoming clear to me now.
Huh?
Yes.
It's like Tom Nook. It's I never knew I could make an Animal Crossing reference in Phoenix Wright.
It's quite obvious that the defendant is guilty.
Wait a minute, that's not right. At least hear the case before you decide on the outcome, Your Honor.
Watch yourself, Miss Fay. I'm not sure I care for your word choice or your tone of voice.
Young people these days simply don't know how to respect their elders.
Why you? You're even younger than me, you hypocrite.
Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, please call your first witness.
I called the detective who was in charge of the investigation of this case.
Gumshoe, and he's in a tan overcoat this time.
Witness, state your name and occupation.
Gumshoe, Dick Gumshoe. I'm the homicide detective in charge of the case, sir. I finally got promoted to the detective division half a year ago.
I don't believe anyone asked you about that.
Hey, ma'am, you got any idea how much work it takes?
What is it?
You're really gorgeous.
Excuse me?
No, seriously, my heart, it's aching for you.
Detective, pull yourself together and try to be professional. Otherwise, I'll write you up on contempt so quick that something other than your heart will ache.
Oh, okay, I got it.
Now, detective, tell us about the incident.
Yes, sir. Right away. The victim was Sergeant Valerie Hawthorne, a veteran on the police force. She was stabbed in the back with a knife and died from excessive blood loss.
That much is already stated in the autopsy report. The court would like to hear more details about the incident itself.
Yes, sir, I gotcha. Okay, let's take a look at this aerial map of the area here. This is a sketch of Dusky Bridge, an old suspension bridge, and the river that runs under there is Eagle River. The victim and the defendant met there, on top of the bridge. After stabbing her in the back, the killer carried the victim back to his car. He was recaptured at a police checkpoint as he was trying to make his getaway, sir.
I see. Was the victim's blood found on the bridge?
The victim, Sergeant Valerie Hawthorne, was wearing a thick coat, sir. Unfortunately, no traces of blood were found on the bridge.
Mr. Edgeworth, I warn you that I absolutely despise conjecture. If there was no blood on the bridge, then you have no proof that they even met there.
Your Honor, if you would listen to the testimony we have prepared, I'm sure you'll be convinced. The two of them most certainly did meet on the bridge that day.
Why, Mr. Edgeworth, I'm not sure I like you wagging your finger at me as though I were some hoser. Detective, proceed with your testimony.
Yes, sir.
Here we go, Mia. Hang on.
Okay now.
Listen carefully, kitten. On one little mistake and this guy will drink you for morning tea. Trust me and get ready.
He has a connection with Godot, I know that. I'm not sure if he is Godot or what. I'm not sure. Anyways.
On the day of the incident, an unknown person phoned the sergeant and asked to meet. Sergeant Hawthorne went to Dusky Bridge at the designated time and met with Mr. Falls. And that's where she was brutally murdered, sir. The criminal stuffed her body into his car trunk and tried to make a getaway. Mr. Falls was arrested at a police checkpoint we set up at the base of the mountain.
Well, you certainly have established the importance of the bridge.
Naturally.
Now, would the defense please hurry up and proceed with the cross-examination?
Yes, Your Honor. Cross-examination. Coming right up.
Hey,
Settle down there, kitten. If you keep trembling like that, you're gonna make me spill my coffee. I'm not trembling, it's just cold in here. The courtroom can be a cool battlefield, alright, especially for a beginner. I don't need you to worry about me. I mean the defendant, the witness, everyone's a beginner in here. You got me there. But maybe you should keep your claws out and show them what you've got, kitten. It's okay, Mia, stay calm. Just remember those court procedure videos you stayed up all last night watching.
Here we go.
This unknown person, you have no idea who it might be, right?
Sorry, but I'm afraid I do.
What?
The one who called Sergeant Hawthorne was the defendant, Terry Falls.
What? The defendant? The defendant called her?
Sergeant Hawthorne was a very thorough person, sir. She left a note about her phone call with Mr. Falls.
A note?
Yeah, a top secret memo that she left on her desk.
According to this note, it seems the one who called her to the bridge was indeed the defendant, Terry Falls.
Whose bright idea was it to keep that note from me? Looks like the judge is even more sure of his verdict now. Listen up. Never ask a question if you don't already know the answer. It's that detective's fault. He's the one that said unknown person.
Hey now, don't make that face at me. I just said it that way because the prosecutor told me to.
Was that a trap? With that cute face, I didn't expect him to be so sneaky. A bridge up in the mountains? But why meet there?
Because it is a very important place to the defendant. That's why.
What do you mean by that?
If you remember 5 years ago, the defendant kidnapped a young girl. He was chased onto a bridge, and it was there that he killed his hostage. And the place where all this occurred is, of course, Dusky Bridge.
The very place where Sergeant Hawthorne arrested and handcuffed Mr. Falls.
Returning to the scene of the crime. How nostalgic. Was the body of the victim discovered right away?
Yeah, we were really on the ball. We found the criminal within 1 hour of the murder. It was great. We even got to say, don't move. We've got you surrounded.
Wait a second. Isn't there something weird about that? The location was a suspension bridge up in the mountains. So how did they find out about the crime so quickly? Sergeant Hawthorne must have mentioned the phone call to someone else, right? If that's what had happened, then she wouldn't have been killed.
She never mentioned the phone call from Mr. Falls, but she left a note on her desk about it. If only I had noticed it earlier, maybe she'd still be alive.
I wonder why she didn't mention the phone call to anyone. Mr. Falls had a car then.
Well, that bridge is way up in the mountains, ma'am. The defendant and the victim both went up there by car. I mean, how else, right?
What? You mean the defendant drove his own car?
No, of course not. It was stolen. He stole it from a young couple that had been waiting at a red light.
Car thieves. I'm not sure how I feel about car thieves.
Is this guy sure about how he feels about anything?
This is a photo of the stolen car's trunk.
Oh, wow.
Naturally, that's the body of Valerie Hawthorne in there.
Whoa, that doesn't look too comfortable.
This judge is so stupid. The victim, she was stabbed in the back, correct?
Yeah.
Huh. For some reason, men always seem to get stabbed in the back. We're talking about a woman here.
You can't tell from this photo, but the knife was stuck in her back nice and firm.
The condition of the body when it was discovered is very important information. Detective, was there anything strange or noteworthy in the trunk of the car?
Here's a photo of the trunk, but I don't see anything strange. Okay, so he seems pretty suspicious on here, so I think we gotta present something here. Okay, so first of all, stabbed with a knife in the back, died from blood loss between 4 and 5 p.m. Located 40 feet above Eagle River. Let's read the victim note. Falls 4:30 p.m. at that bridge. Wear white scarf for identification. Talk to Dahlia. Dahlia. We've heard that name before. Didn't we? I'm not sure. Tell her this time the whole truth must come out. Where's white scarf? She's not even wearing a scarf! Objection! Witness!
What is it? Do you have something to say, Miss Faye?
I'm sorry, I totally forgot what I was going to say. This is the first time I've ever had to actually address someone like that.
You should have practiced before coming to court. Honestly, Miss Faye, I'm not sure I like this.
Say there, little kitten. Want a piece of my coffee candy? Candy? Well, you're still too young to be drinking real coffee. Come on, Mia. Shake it off. You're a lawyer. Detective.
Yes, ma'am?
This photo. You said that there was nothing peculiar about it. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Well, then I suggest you take another look at the note written by the victim.
The note?
It very clearly says, wear white scarf for identification. The caller must have forgotten what the victim looked like. Thus, this special request?
I
have one very simple question for you, Detective. Where is the white scarf? I can't seem to find it in this photo.
Well, to be honest, we didn't find it in the trunk, ma'am.
And you stopped there? You should have looked for it.
The caller told her to wear it to identify herself, so I expect she did just that. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what do you have to say about this?
I see the defense is a little lacking. The scarf you are searching so desperately for, is it this one perchance?
Where did you find that, sir?
On Dusky Bridge, I was there first and decided to conduct my own investigation.
Why? Why did you tell me?
I made a decision to keep all pieces of evidence in my personal satchel. It's the safest place I know.
That hotshot sure has a flair for the dramatic.
It's not exactly white as the caller requested, but as you can see, it's close enough for what it was intended for.
It looks like it spent some time in the mud.
Not surprising, it was drizzling on the mountain that day.
Prosecutor Edgeworth, he was intentionally hiding that scarf the whole time.
The court will accept the scarf into evidence.
Now, if the attorney for the defense has finished embarrassing herself, I'd like to move on with the testimony. That is all right with you, isn't it, Miss Faye?
Boy, would I like to wrap this scarf around his smarmy little neck.
Very good. Now, if we're done with this mud-covered scarf business, the prosecution moves to establish conclusively and with hard evidence that Miss Hawthorne and Mr. Falls did indeed meet on that bridge that day. Further, we will show exactly what occurred there.
That sounds quite promising. I can't wait to hear all about it.
Everything is moving at his whim.
Don't forget, kitten, there's a
reason why everyone considers us a genius. A genius, huh?
Alright, let's see what we can find on this one.
Actually, there's an eyewitness who was there when the incident took place.
Alright, I want to look at my evidence really quickly here. Okay, worn by the victim at the time of the incident, okay. Loaded the trunk on Paul's car. Okay. We've already read that. And there's the map, okay. In the autopsy. Okay.
Actually, there's an eyewitness who was there when the incident took place. This photo was accidentally taken by the witness. It shows her wearing the scarf, sir. It was drizzling that day. Unfortunately, it's a little hard to see what's going on.
Well, we can't really see her face, so we can't prove that.
Anyway, the criminal shoved the victim down from behind and stabbed her in the back.
What? How does that work? You can't shove her from behind and... Wait, into the... She would have... Okay.
That must have been when the scarf fell off.
That's gotta be something. Wait. I'm trying to think here. Looking at this photo, you really get the sense that this bridge is very high up.
There's about a 40 feet drop from the bridge to the Eagle River down below.
Mr. Edgeworth, who took this photo anyway?
Let's just say that it was a well-intentioned third party.
Aha, a potential witness. So why isn't this person in the courtroom? Well, they said they absolutely did not want to testify.
The person in question is very delicate, Your Honor. Besides, as long as we have this photo, we see no reason to compel her to testify.
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
So as you can see, Terry falls at both the motive and the opportunity. And I think it's quite clear at this point what happened on this bridge.
Aha, the truth is becoming clear to me now.
Huh?
Yes, it's quite obvious. He's clearly guilty.
Not again, that's not fair. I haven't even done my cross-examination yet. What do you mean,
Alright, here we go. That's gotta be something, that statement that we thought earlier. Criminal shoved the victim down from behind and stabbed her. Criminal... Is that what it said? Criminal shoved the victim down from behind and stabbed her in the back. This is the clear shot of the victim here. Shoved the victim down from behind. From behind and stabbed her in the back. Objection! That's what I thought in the first place.
So at the time of the crime, there was a light drizzle coming down, correct?
Yeah, and fog too. Just a generally soggy atmosphere.
Well, I have evidence that doesn't go with the soggy atmosphere.
But this is a photo of the victim's body that was found in the car trunk.
Considering the conditions at the scene of the crime, something isn't right.
The coat is completely clean. Well, by all means, please enlighten us as to what isn't right. What is about this photo of the trunk that doesn't fit with the conditions that day? Her coat looks completely dry.
Naturally, the answer is right here.
The victim's coat? As far as I can see, there is nothing strange about it.
That's exactly what's strange. Remember the testimony. What were the conditions on the bridge that day? It was drizzling and foggy. Dusky Bridge was all wet. If the victim really had fallen down on her stomach on top of the bridge, she would have been dirty and covered with stuff. And the front of her coat should have been covered in mud.
Ugh!
That's exactly right. The other day I fell on a muddy street and my gorgeous blay-off beard was befouled.
I do admit that the crime scene was quite wet that day. However, that doesn't mean that the top of the bridge itself was muddy. If Your Honor had fallen in the shower instead of on a muddy street, his glorious hockey beard prior to the legal league would be wet but not muddy.
Fortunately, I have yet to test that. Still, your point is well taken.
Can you prove that the surface of the bridge was muddy that day? The surface of the bridge, huh?
Ah, a real man wouldn't stand for a taunt like this.
Neither would a real woman. Of course I can. Here's the evidence that proves the surface of the bridge was muddy.
Her scarf is muddy. It fell off on the bridge.
The evidence is this scarf.
Ah,
It should be obvious. If the scarf fell onto the bridge and got this muddy, it means that the bridge was obviously covered in mud.
No, I can't be outwitted by this novice bimbo.
Hey, same to you, buddy.
Miss Faye's assertion makes perfect sense to me.
I do admit that there appears to be a contradiction between the condition of the victim's coat and her scarf. However, the real question is, why is there a contradiction?
Huh?
For every contradiction, there exists an explanation. Let's look at what the explanation in this case may be, shall we?
Alright, it's not like he's really giving me a choice here.
Ha, you're doing pretty good for a little kitten.
Mr. Armando,
No matter what he says, a contradiction always comes to it down to a lie. It's either the victim discovered in the trunk, the witness's photo showing the defendant and the victim, or the witness's testimony that stated that she saw the moment of the murder. I'm thinking the testimony. Just relax and think it over. It's pretty simple, isn't it? The false evidence, it's one of those three.
What you said just now, I'm not sure I like that.
That wasn't me, Your Honor. It was the coffee aficionado over here that said it.
This court's not in the habit of accepting false evidence, you know.
Blame it on him, Your Honor. He's the one trying to slip false evidence into the court. But we won't let him. We'll expose his evidence as the flimsy scam it really is. Yes, the false evidence in this case is the... Okay, the witness's photo is probably in the trunk. That's fine. The only thing we don't have... And the thing is, the only thing that we don't have a visual of is the testimony. It's just writing. I mean, so anybody could have wrote that. It is a no-brainer. Obviously, it's the witness that's suspicious. During his earlier testimony, the detective pointed out a crucial fact. The criminal shoved the victim down from behind and stabbed her in the back. Now, is that testimony exactly what the witness claims to have seen?
Yeah, that's what the witness told us.
That testimony is filled with holes. After all, the victim's coat isn't dirty at all.
That's true.
It's not just true, it's the truth. If there was a truly decisive witness in this case, I'm certain that boy wonder over there would have called him in the first place. Your Honor, the defense requests to cross-examine the eyewitness. The testimony presented so far is not only vague but contradictory as well.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, it appears that we'll need to hear from your mystery witness after all.
You should brace yourself for the brutal truth. Your Honor, the prosecution has no intention of hiding the witness from the court. We are prepared to present our witness at any time.
Very well. Please bring forth your witness at this time.
What Mr. Edgeworth said kind of worries me. What does he mean by the brutal truth?
Now let's proceed with the testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, please go right ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. The prosecution summons the woman who saw the events that day with her very own eyes.
This is it, Mia. The battle begins here.
Witness, what is your name and occupation?
Oh! We do know her! That's Dahlia from the... It was the first case, that's right. Everyone is so silent that I can hear their hearts going pitter-patter.
Oh, when I look at you, how can I put it? You look as scrumptious as a double-double in a dozen donut holes. I feel like I want to hurry up and hand down a verdict just to have a bite.
Hey, not so fast.
As I said before, this witness is very sensitive and delicate. I would ask the court to please exercise care when addressing her.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. You are a true gentleman. Miss Fay, you could learn a lot from this man.
If he's such a gentleman, he sure doesn't act like one to me. I can't remember what voice I did for her.
Sir?
Hey, yes, my dear?
This is my first time, so I'm sure I'll make a lot of mistakes. Anyway, I just wanted to say I'm sorry for all the trouble I might cause.
Not at all. It's no trouble at all.
Now then, may we please have your name and occupation? My name is, Melissa Foster. Oh, bull crap! I'm a college student, a freshman in the literature department.
You were on the scene when the unfortunate event occurred, correct?
And you were the one who took this photo. Is that accurate? How can you be so mean?
Now see here, what are you doing shoving that in her face like that?
Huh? But it's just a photograph. It's not like it's something dangerous.
Next time we'll be forced to penalize you.
Uh-oh, I don't like the turn this has taken. Is she staring at me?
And you would be...
Huh? I'm the defense lawyer. My name is Mia Fey. I see.
So you are...
Now then, young lady, could you please give us your testimony?
Yes, Your Honor. I'll do my best.
Ugh. She is evil. How did she... Okay. Because we do remember her from the first one.
I was using my camera to take some pictures of wildflowers. Then I noticed there were two people standing up on the suspension bridge. Suddenly, they just started fighting. That's when I hurried and took the photo that shows the crucial moment. And right after that, I called the police.
By the way, where were you standing when the incident occurred?
I believe the map would be of help here.
I was standing right over here. I was standing in a beautiful field surrounded by tall cliffs.
So you took the photo from that location, eh?
I brought the camera I was using at the time, just like Mr. Edgeworth asked me to.
What a cute camera, just like its owner. That was stupid. Alright then, Miss Faye, time for your cross-examination. But I warn you, make the witness cry again and you'll feel the wrath of my gavel. Here we go.
That's when I hurried and took the photo that shows the crucial moment. Alright, I want to look at the photo again, just to make sure. So there were two people standing up on the suspension bridge. Suddenly they just started fighting. And took the photo that shows the crucial moment. Well, in that photo they're just standing there. He's not actually shooting him. So I think that's a contradiction right there. Objection!
Witness, when you said you took a photo of the crucial moment, is this what you meant? All I can see on this photo are two people facing each other. You testified that you saw the two of them starting to fight. Normally that's the kind of thing we would refer to as a crucial moment. Why haven't you presented a photo like that?
Oh,
Well, you see,
The photo we presented was the only one there was.
but if you really wanted to capture the crucial moment, then what happened next? You must have taken a photo of it.
Duh! My apologies, young lady, but Miss Faye's assertion is not without a certain amount of merit.
He can certainly downplay a situation, can he? I'm sorry. I'm a very bad girl. I used it all up. The film, I mean.
You ran out of film?
This photo was the last one. What?
Unfortunately, that is the truth. I personally examined all the photographs she took that day. All the other photos are of the witness herself playing among the wildflowers.
The witness herself? Then who took the photos? Well, you see, my camera has a timer feature built into it. So you took photos of yourself?
I remember taking some photos of myself once too.
Please, no details.
It seems that Miss Faye's assertion was not so decisive after all.
Wait, just a minute.
Well, if she had no film left, she can very well take more pictures. Eh?
Miss Foster, perhaps then you could tell us about a different sort of photo. Photos of the incident that you took with your very own eyes.
Mr. Edgeworth, you're quite the poet.
Very well then, let's get back to the cross-examination. Let's hear your thoughts on the fight that you witnessed.
Yes, Mr. Judge.
boy, this guy is really a sucker for sweet talk. Huh. It looks like the other kitten in the room is the one that's getting all the attention.
Yeah, it's sickening.
Okay. What else is in here? She only got about 10 yards before she was stabbed in the back. That bridge is not even 10 yards long. Oh, it's 40 feet. How long is a yard? I thought it was way more than that. 'Cause she was right there. She only got about 10 yards before she was stabbed. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Objection!
Witness, your testimony's a joke. Huh? What? But I just...
Miss Faye, I thought I warned you not to make the witness cry.
One short testimony and two bad contradictions. There's no possible excuse.
You say there were 2 contradictions?
It's simple. Just take a look at the diagram in the area. According to her testimony, the two of them were in the middle of the bridge. But if they were, and the victim had turned around and tried to run, well then...
She would have hit a dead end.
You said 10 yards, but she couldn't have ran even 5.
It was blocked behind her.
Because Dusky Bridge has collapsed on that side. Ah!
What does all this mean?
It's very simple, Your Honor. This charming little witness told a charming little lie. That's all there is to it.
This beautiful young lady has been lying to the court?
Just a moment, Your Honor.
Mr. Edgeworth?
Your Honor, allow me to personally apologize for the confusion.
What do you mean?
There's one major mistake in this diagram.
What did you say?
What are you referring to?
It's all because this diagram was made after the incident occurred. It's a very old bridge. We couldn't find any official blueprints of it.
So you're saying...
I'm saying that even though this bridge is currently in disrepair, there's no evidence that can prove that the bridge was broken during the incident.
That's ridiculous.
You can actually tell the condition of the bridge from this photo. I apologize to the court for not being more clear when I presented the evidence.
Oh, sorry guys. Fix the camera here. My foot was just caught on something. That guy is good.
Huh? What do you mean?
He planned it from the beginning. He's a genius, all right. That diagram of the bridge was his insurance policy.
What? That coward.
Well, Miss Faye, it seems you've once again made a reckless accusation.
I'm so sorry. I should have been more careful myself.
No. It wasn't your fault at all.
Now then, shall we go on with the trial? I'd like to establish once and for all what it was that the witness actually saw.
Indeed. All right, young lady. May I ask you to please proceed with your testimony?
But it's so hard to go on.
We're all on your side, Miss Foster.
There's no need to worry, just tell us what you saw.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Gosh, I don't even know to speak like that. All right. Here we go.
After he stabbed her in the back, he quickly picked her up in his arms. Then he carried her over to the car. I suppose that was the only way he could make sure the body stayed hidden.
Wait, what? I suppose that was the only way he could make sure the body stayed hidden. Hidden in those trees over there, I guess.
He couldn't just leave the body on top of the bridge. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm only supposed to talk about what I saw.
Witnessing such violence must have been difficult.
Yes, sir. I'm still shaken up.
If he accepts his testimony as it is, we're finished.
Don't say that.
Oh well, maybe I'll stop off at my favorite cafe on the way home. They make a really great mocha latte.
This trial isn't over yet.
That's what I like to hear.
All right, Miss Faye, your cross-examination, if you please.
The contradiction is staring you right in the face, Mia. Go on the attack.
That's got to be what we got to present on, because that's way too straightforward, and it's not just the car that she can be hidden in. It was actually supposed to be on the other side of the actual Dusky Bridge area. Objection!
A killer not wanting his victim to be found. I can understand that. However, the idea of moving the body for that purpose is clearly odd. There was a much easier way to make sure the body wasn't found.
Well, what is it?
Take another look at the map of the area and you'll see how. There's a river right below the bridge. Earlier, Mr. Edgeworth pointed out something interesting about the river.
For those who are not aware, Eagle River is well known for its powerful current. Most bodies that fall in are never recovered.
In the kidnapping case 5 years ago, the victim's body was carried away and never found. If 10 murders were to occur at that same spot above the Eagle River, you can bet your boots that every other killer would have tossed the body in the water.
Order! I'm not sure if I care for the way you put that, Miss Faye, but I must admit it does seem odd not to have thrown the body into the river.
Ugh.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth?
How sad. Perhaps Miss Faye would do well to try taking a dip in the river herself. After all, you claim to be such an expert in the ways of nature.
What are you talking about?
My point is that no matter how odd you may find the killer's method of body disposal, the fact is that this is what the killer did. None of your arguments have anything to do with what the witness saw.
Quite true. Miss Faye, it seems that your assertion was without merit after all.
But what the witness claims to have seen is totally ridiculous.
Surely you can't deny that the body was found in the trunk of the car. That's certainly consistent with what the witness has told us. Please, witness, go on with your testimony.
I'll try.
All you have to do is tell us only what you saw. Otherwise, the mean lady might yell at you again.
Who is he talking about? Alright, I'll do my best.
Oh, God, she's annoying. Oh, is there more to this? Again? This is interesting. I've never actually... The killer... Okay, this is new. The killer broke into the trunk of the stolen car and hid the body in there. I thought that was the killer's car. Wasn't that the killer's car that he hit her in? Falls' car, the killer. And that's what she's saying for that. So if he hit her in there, that would actually be him. So that can't be what we present, because that points out what she's saying. But it was his car. So what do we present? The only thing that seems close to that is the map again. Objection!
Well, Miss Foster, it looks like you've done it this time. Huh? Done what? Made a crucial mistake.
Crucial mistake? Like what, Miss Faye?
The killer broke into the trunk of the stolen car and hid the body in there. You're saying you saw that, right? With your very own eyes. Yes, and... It's simple, Miss Foster. Take a look at the diagram. The place you claim to have taken the photo from that day is here. Do you see what I mean? Even if you tried to see the car, this outcropping of rock is directly in the way. Ha ha! That's right, Miss Foster. From where you were standing, you could not have possibly seen the killer's car.
Shaboosha!
I meant that the diagram shows a large outcropping of rock. However, it isn't so tall that it would stop her from seeing the car.
That's right. It's not high at all. I was able to see his car just fine. I'm so sorry, but that just doesn't wash. I believe it was the witness who presented this as evidence to the court, yes? This is the location that the photo was taken from.
She couldn't see a single thing. She didn't see that car at all. She didn't even know there was a car. Unless she was actually part of it.
Your own photo tells the whole story. You can clearly see the left side of the bridge, but the outcropping that is being referred to is really more like a cliff. Your view should have been completely cut off by this cliff, but still you claim to have been able to see the killer's car. No!
Sucker! Order in the court! What is the meaning of all this ballyhoo?
Your Honor, don't jump to any hasty conclusions. The fact that the escapee fled in the stolen car was reported on the news. After witnessing a murder, I'm sure you can appreciate that the witness was very upset. She must have heard about the stolen car and convinced herself that she saw it.
She was repeatedly warned before starting her testimony. She was told to testify only about what she saw with her own eyes. Mr. Judge?
What is it?
I think I must have remembered things wrong. Hey, wait a minute. You can't just say that.
Oh boy.
Miss Faye, no one on the face of the planet is perfect.
Yes indeed. Quite true. You know what they say, to err is human, to forgive divine. I am inclined to give the benefit of the doubt to our witness here.
What? That's not fair.
Save the tears for later, kitten.
Mr. Armando.
Don't look back until the trial is over. Now is the time to go forward.
But that wasn't fair.
Okay, kitten, you need to relax. Then you need to remember the other kitten's testimony.
The killer broke into the trunk of the stolen car and hid the body in there.
So tell us, how did you know that? How did you know that he broke into the trunk?
Aha! Until you can explain how you, that's the part that we thought was actually gonna happen.
You're going to have a lot of very suspicious people on this side of the courtroom.
Well, witness? Well, I'm certain that he
broke into the trunk because there were marks left on the trunk lid. I'm certain they were scratch marks from when he broke into it.
What? Let me see that photo. It's true. These certainly look like scratch marks around the keyhole. It's obvious that this trunk has been broken open. Well, Miss Faye, are you satisfied?
The judge is on her side. I can't make any mistakes here. What she just said, is there a contradiction in there somewhere?
It doesn't seem like it.
Melissa Foster, it looks like you finally betrayed yourself. What? You said you were in a field taking photos of wildflowers, but even so, you knew about the scratches. The question is when? When did you get a chance to see those scratches?
So whose photo is that? Who took that crime photo? Okay, I guess that was just Gumshoe. Okay, I think I got it now.
I finally got her.
I'm getting pretty tired of waiting over here. Then perhaps it would be faster if Miss Fay explained herself.
Your Honor, there is only one possible explanation. The reason the witness had seen the scratches was...
She's the owner of the car. She must be the killer. That's the only way she could have saw it.
There's only one way that the witness had the chance to see those scratches.
Yes, what was it?
Naturally, when she opened the trunk and stuffed the corpse in herself. The person who really hid the body in the trunk of that car was... Melissa Foster. It was you that did it, wasn't it? That's ridiculous. I could never. It was the man in the prison garb. He's the one that... I don't think so, Miss Foster. If Mr. Falls had been the one that put the corpse in the trunk, he would have simply used the car key. There was no need to break it open. But he stole the car. He stole it from a young couple that had been waiting at a red light, which means that the key would have still been in the ignition. Oh, I see. Thank you for telling us about the scratches, Miss Foster. Without that, we never would have uncovered the truth. It couldn't have been Mr. Falls that put the body in the trunk. No!
Preposterous! To even suggest that the witness put the body in there. If that were true, then how do you explain the photos that she took? The corpse could only have been put in the trunk when the incident occurred. And we already know that at the time, she was taking photographs.
Now is your chance, Mia. Finish this thing. On the contrary, I'm not so certain about that anymore, Mr. Edgeworth.
Alright, let's save here. Mr. Foster took the witness's photo with this. Has a timer function. Oh! That's totally it!
There's no need to think too deeply about it. What I'm saying is the shutter for this may not have been pushed by Miss Foster herself.
It's got a timer function on it.
I don't think you can make a mistake about it. Take a look at her camera. There's a timer built into it, even a mini tripod. Almost as if the camera was brought just to take this picture.
What are you trying to say then, Miss Fay? That when the crime occurred, Miss Foster wasn't in the field as she claimed?
Well, if she really did use the camera's auto timer, then the answer is yes, she was somewhere else. Exactly, she was not in the field.
Would the defense please explain further?
Listen, this is the crucial point. Where was Miss Foster when the incident occurred? And answering that question will also make clear Miss Foster's true identity.
Well then, please answer the question. Where was Melissa Foster when the incident on the bridge occurred? She has to have been the killer, so... highlight just on the bridge, I guess.
Naturally, the witness was right here.
But that's where the victim is Hawthorne was... Wait, what? I don't get it! I was putting on the killer! Order, Miss Fay, what on earth?
Your Honor, if I may? After parting with the victim on the bridge, the defendant fled by car.
Huh?
But this would mean that there was no time to put the victim in the trunk. In other words, if someone put the body in the trunk, it could only have been before the defendant met the oh, I see. She was she was before when Mr. Falls was there.
Of course Mr. Falls met with the victim. The only person with the opportunity to have put the victim in the trunk is the same man that killed her, Terry Falls.
You still don't understand, do you, Mr. Edgeworth? By the time the witness's photo was taken, the victim was already dead. The person in the photo was not Valerie Hawthorne.
What? I've never heard anything more ridiculous in my entire life. Then who exactly is the victim in this photo?
It's obvious, isn't it? It's your own witness.
What?
It's the only possible explanation. The woman that Mr. Falls met on the bridge that day was not Valerie Hawthorne. It was you, Melissa Foster. Me? Let's remember that it was raining and foggy on the mountain that day. Mr. Falls himself believed that the woman in front of him was Valerie Hawthorne.
And we didn't get a clear shot of her in the picture as well.
But the defendant knew Valerie Hawthorne very well. After all, she was the woman whose testimony helped get him convicted.
But since then, my client has spent 5 hard years in a federal penitentiary. He couldn't remember exactly what she looked like anymore.
You were just making this up as you go along. Where's your proof?
I've got it all right here. This piece of evidence will blow this case wide open. At the time of the incident, Mr. Falls had forgotten what Valerie Hawthorne looked like.
What do I do? Mr. Falls had forgotten what Valerie Hawthorne looked like. Oh, because she was wearing a scarf and that was probably covering her face. That's easy.
Mr. Falls had forgotten the victim's face. That's why he needed some piece of identification. Namely, this muddy scarf. Ah! It was Mr. Falls who requested that she wear this scarf to identify herself. That's already been proven by the note the victim left. In other words, as long as you were wearing a scarf like he asked, anyone could have pretended to be Valerie Hawthorne. Well, what do you have to say to that, Miss Melissa Foster?
No! She's out. Is that the end of the case? Seriously? It's probably not, because we know Phoenix Wright very well. Where's Miss Foster?
She's collecting herself in the lobby.
It's obvious that Miss Melissa Foster did it. She hid the body in the trunk and disguised herself as the victim. She set up the camera to snap a fake photo of them together.
The only question is, why did she do it?
Well, isn't that obvious? She's the true criminal.
Huh. Well, we'll have to wait for Miss Foster to compose herself before we start again. Until then, this court is in recess. The defense and the prosecution are instructed to wait in the lobby.
Yes, Your Honor.
Understood. Very well, this court is in recess. Oh. Alright, so this case is still continuing on. So, tomorrow we will continue episode 4 of Phoenix Wright, Turnabout Beginnings. Let's get a quick little preview of what's to be coming up tomorrow. Starting right away with Falls on the screen.
Mr. Falls,
Oh, here.
I'm sorry.
Wow, that was more than one. That was a big preview. Alright, so tomorrow we will continue on with episode 4 of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for watching, everybody. Catch you next time on WTZM TV. Objection!